Hold on, I may be under.
Okay, perfect. So we are recording. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for this training. I asked Kelsey yesterday to hop on and just kind of share some tips. She has signed like 12 billion customers. Total, it's 15 customers this month, which is insane. She actually started in the beginning of March, but did not actually get started right away. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from her. And just have her kind of share where her mindset was when she started and kind of the flip that switched, or switch that flipped. And let's see, Kelsey, you should be unmuted if you want to go ahead and just kind of share your story, why you started, and then what kind of happened, why you didn't really do a whole lot for the first couple weeks.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I kind of joined the business because I am a mom of 2 little babies, and they're so adorable. And I kind of wanted more free time. I was working at a hospital. I used to work in surgery. And I kind of got tired of working 14, 16-hour days every day. So that's kind of why I started. I did have a slow start, like when I first joined, like she said. I joined back in March. And at first I had a really big fear of failing, and I tried a company kind of like this before, and I just didn't do well with that company at all. And so I just had that in the back of my mind, and I was like, well, I didn't succeed with that company, like what's going to be different with this company now? So all of that was there. And then right when I started is kind of when all this virus stuff started hitting. And my daughter actually got very sick for about 2 weeks. And they almost hospitalized her. She got tested for the virus. It took us almost 2 weeks to get those results back. Finally got them back, and thank God they were negative. But, we were under quarantine for a while, and, I was on the phone with the doctor's office almost every single day, and I just had a lot kind of going on. And so I kind of pushed this to the side and was like, well, I'll do it later, or, something of that nature. But then I kind of, the flip kind of switched in my brain, and I was like, look, I'm sitting at home right now, like, we're all here as a family and everything. What's kind of a better time to get started than now? Because, I was already scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, texting with people, messaging. I was already doing all of that. So I was like, well, why not try and make some money off of it while I'm doing it? So that's kind of what, pushed me to kind of get started. And I really didn't start until I think I signed my first person. It was actually April 1st is when I signed my first person. So it really, and like she said, I think I signed up like March 5th or something like that. So almost an entire month I didn't do anything at all. And the thing that's worked the best for me is the host to post. I know that on here everyone kind of talks about those, but that's really honestly what has been the best thing for me. I message people, tell them about the giveaway, all this kind of stuff. And then I'm like, hey, I can get you entered if you just put up this post for me. All you gotta do is just put it up, let me know when it's up, and then I'll do the rest. That's all that you have to do. And everyone has kind of liked that. I know that a lot of people talk about like, okay, you have to get 10 a day, or you need 20 a day. I don't. I got on here with Courtney earlier today, and I was like, look, like I kind of feel bad because I'm really only getting 2, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, host to post up a day, and that's it. But she kind of told me, she's like, that you're doing it, like, you're getting some up, and that's really what matters, is just getting something done every day.
Yeah.
And so,
Kelsey, I'm gonna stop you real quick. There are a couple things I want people to hear on. First, when she started, life happened and she got crazy busy and she walked away, but she came back. It switched in her mind that she said, you know what? I haven't done anything for a couple weeks, but I can still make something of this now. And she went for it. And although she might not get up 10, 20, however many host posts a day, she gets up 2, 3, however many up a day, every single day, and is very, very intentional about how she talks to her potentials and how she does that and how she posts. And she got herself quite a bit of knowledge on the product so that when people say, oh, I want help with this, she knows exactly what to offer them. So you say a lot of your host posts, you come from sharing about the giveaway and having them post from that. So what is the main host a post that you're having them do?
The main one that I do is the main one that I have people put up is, hey, you want to lose 30 pounds in 90 days? That's kind of the one that I do mostly. Every now and then I'll kind of switch it up, and I'm trying to get some distributors. And so every now and then I will kind of switch it up and do kind of like a distributor host a post. But yeah, the main one that I've been doing is the one for the Thermofide X, and that, and then when they they comment on it, I message them. I'm like, hey, what do you guys want? Like, what's kind of like your weight loss goal? And they tell me, and then I kind of just go from there. Like she said, I kind of just do it. I individualize it for every different person that I speak with. Whether it's recommending a different product or whatever. The main thing that I've been kind of doing is I've really have been pushing the 2 for $49 sale that we have, and kind of tapering what products I recommend for them to buy based on what they're wanting. Whether, I would be okay losing 10 pounds, but, I want more energy or whatever it is. I kind of just change everything depending on what they tell me is their goal and what they're wanting.
Yeah, you guys, scripts are super important and they help a ton, but it also helps to know kind of what you're talking about as far as like what products can help with what, but also making them feel like if they say, hey, I want energy, and you're like, okay, great, here's this product, and like you're just going through a script, they can tell that. So it's really helpful when they tell you what they're really looking for and you give them those personalized products. So many of Kelsey's customers are not just one single Thermofite X, they are multiple different products, multiple BB. It's not just a simple 25 BB order every time. She gets multiple products, and I know that that means that she's working with those people to make sure they're getting the best products possible, which will also ensure that her customers are seeing the results that they want. Because if someone tells you, hey, I want to lose 100 pounds, and you're like, okay, great, take Fat Fighters, they're not going to see the results that they want, and then they're going to be mad. Instead of you telling them, hey, I highly recommend you using this, 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 and this because your goal is this. Somebody questioned something that I know you're going to love to answer. They said, what is your organization for potentials like as you get them from host to post? Do you have a specific way that you write them down to follow up with, or how do you keep track of the people to follow up with?
I usually write down the people that post for me, and then I, every few hours or whatever, I'll kind of go back to their posts and, see who else has commented that I haven't already messaged, or, if whatever the case may be. So I kind of just keep a track of who has posted for me. And then I just kind of go from there. Whether I look in the history, like my search history on Facebook, whether I'm looking that way or if I'm looking at my paper every time, it just kind of varies. But I always kind of check up on those. And I had some from a few days ago that I will still kind of check up on because, people will see things at a different time or whatever the case is. And so I just kind of try to keep checking those and see what they want. Or, I've had people comment and tag someone else in the comments on these posts, and I go back and I'm like, okay, well, hey, let them know I sent them a friend request, so I can send them info, whatever. So that's kind of how I follow up with them.
And I also know that you do the same thing that I do, where you save all of your host posts into a collection on your saved post, so that you can just click that and you can go through every host post and you follow up that way.
Yes.
Okay, so is there a specific thing that you think really changed the game for you from your first couple weeks of, I don't know about this, to I'm just going to go for it? Is there something that you did, something that you read, something that you heard, or was it just kind of like an internal, I need to do this for my family type thing?
I think it was kind of a combination of all of the above, like in some way. You know, you tagged me, you know, you added me to all those group chats on Facebook and everything. So I was constantly seeing all these people get on there and, oh, you know, I just did this or I did this. And, you know, so then I was like, okay, well, they're all doing it, you know, why can't I? And then my fiance actually, he's kind of my backbone. Like, I'm very shy and everything. And so he was like, look, you know, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't do anything. And so I just, you know, I was like, okay, you're right. And like I said earlier, you know, I was already at home because my baby was sick, and I was already scrolling through Facebook, and I was already sharing things or, you know, posting pictures of my kids, or I was already doing most of the stuff that I already do. And so really that was kind of, you know, the push from him, and then the constant reminder from all of those messages, like, okay, all these people are already doing this, you know, maybe I should kick my butt into gear and see
Yeah.
what can happen.
You just,
And
you kind of got to a point where you're like, I'm just going to try and see what
yeah,
happens. So,
yeah.
somebody said, what is your message for asking them to host a post for you? Do you send out messages for that, or do you only do giveaway posts?
Um, I have, I'm gonna scroll back onto my messages and look at some of them that I've done. Because I've done both. Um, I actually had messaged my Aunt Jamie. She was my first customer as well as my first host of posts. Um, and so I was like, hey, like, could you do me a favor? You know, I'm trying to get my business going, you know, kind of stepping out on a limb here. I could really use your help. And she doesn't even live in the same state as I do. And so that was kind of helpful for me also because, you know, I'm reaching a completely different crowd by her doing that versus if it was just me doing it. And so that honestly is how I started. But then, you know, I'll post about the giveaways. Like yesterday for Easter, I did one like, hey, you know, my last giveaway was a hit. Like, you know, this week we're giving away a Louis Vuitton or $1,000 cash, your choice. Comment your favorite Easter candy below to get entered. And then they all comment. I message all of them. And, you know, not everybody's going to do it, but, you know, I sent them the message, and that's just kind of how I go from there. And then when I do message people, I'm like, hey, you know, I saw you commented about the giveaway. All you got to do is just, if you don't mind copy and pasting this post that I give you, you know, just let me know when it's up. You don't need to tag me. I'll do everything else. Just need you to put it up, basically.
Yeah. Everything, I know that everything you do is very straight to the point, and also you make sure it sounds like you. It's not just a copy and pasted thing. You, like, when you reached out to your aunt, you're like, hey, I'm going on a limb, do you mind doing me a favor for this? So a lot of the scripts that people use for host to post is the basis of what you're doing. You just put your own personal twist on it so that it sounds like you. And by doing that, you feel so much more comfortable sending the post and sending the messages, because you know that's what you would say. It's not just like, this is what Courtney said to send, so I'm just going to send it. Like, you make sure it sounds like you so that you feel comfortable, and that helps a ton. So does anybody else have any specific questions for Kelsey about what she's doing? And then, Kelsey, I want you to share, is there anything you feel like you're saying that's really helping you to close the deal, like to get these people to sign up right away? Is there anything you're saying, anything you're doing?
I think, kind of like I said a while ago, I think my biggest success thing that I've had, like the biggest thing that's been working for me, is I've been kind of pushing the 2 for $49 because, okay, if they really want the Thermofite X. Okay, well, that's $36 for that one bottle by itself. So why not, for just a little bit more, get another product to go with it? And then, like some people I'll recommend, the cleanse, the carb control, the fat, or not the fat fighter, but, the coffee, or, whatever the other product is. So I'll kind of recommend, usually I try to do like 2 to 4 products per person, just to kind of give them that choice, or, whatever it may be. And then I just kind of push that, like, look, you'll get this price, you'll get these products at this price if you take advantage of this sale. And, I'll even tell them, like, look, if you go through with this, then, you're getting $120 in savings, whatever it may be. Like, this is an amazing deal that you're getting. And so I would really take advantage of it. And I mean, my biggest thing is I'm very honest with people. Like, I've had people message me about the coffee, and I'm like, I can tell you what other people say about it. I don't drink coffee. I don't know. Like, I'm very open and honest. Like, I've had people like, well, what would you do? Okay, well, me personally, I like, these are actually the ones that I use. So, like, these are kind of my go-tos that I would recommend, because your goal is similar to mine, of like what I'm wanting to achieve, and just things like that. So I like you said earlier, I personalize most of everything to the person that I'm talking to. Like, I don't just word for word copy every script. I, like, whatever it is that they're wanting, I just usually try to be as honest with them and give them like what I truly think would work best for them. And
Yeah.
so
I think it helps a lot that you have personal experience with some of the products you've used them before, and B, I think people can tell that you are truly trying to help them, and you give them a sense of urgency and tell them how great of a deal they're getting. Because
yeah,
especially right now, you guys, if you're not taking advantage of this 2 for $49, that's insane. Like, it's crazy good deals. And tell people, like, hey, this is ending soon. Like, you got to act on this quick. Someone said, what are your things that you're doing for your business daily that you feel like has given you a boost in signing people, posting, interacting? What all are you doing?
So I usually myself will put up, I usually try and do like at least 2 posts a day, by myself. And then I go and, people like my Aunt Jamie, for instance, like, she has put up, I think, 4 host posts for me in the last couple of weeks. So, I kind of go back to the people that already have done host posts for me, or anything like that. So I usually kind of do that. Just kind of the people that I know have already done it for me. Like, I know for a fact that they obviously don't have a problem with it. So, I kind of do that. And then, I do tell them, like, hey, you'll get another entry to the drawing, which everybody likes. So,
Right.
I take advantage of that. And then, it just kind of depends. Interacting with people. Yeah. So I have people that have questioned me, like, asked me about the products and everything like that. And then they like just like ghost me, like they just disappear for a few days. And so I'm like, okay, well, hey, do you have any other questions? Like, is there anything else? I always kind of check back in with people. Like, if I could tell that they were really interested, like I had a lot of questions initially and all of that, like I always try to check back in with them, like give them a couple of days to think about it, or, whatever. And I always try to check back in with them. So I think just making sure that you're following up with those people. How often do I check back? I usually check back, well, it kind of depends. Like, if someone has been messaging me back like pretty consistently and pretty quickly, I'll give them, a few hours, like 3-4 hours. And then, if they haven't responded to anything, I'll be like, hey, like, do you have any other questions? If they still don't respond, I'll wait a day or so. Like, hey, is there anything else that I can do for you? Like, any other questions? Did you not like those products? Like, I can find something else to offer you, whatever. And so that's kind of what I do. Just usually I'll, like I said, 3 to 4 hours to like 1 to 2 days is kind of what I do. And then if I don't get a response, honestly, I'm just kind of like, okay, they'll message me back whenever they feel like it, I guess. So, like, I don't want to be too pushy. Like, I don't want to annoy people, you know,
Right.
because I don't like that. I don't like car salesman type people. No
Right.
offense, everybody, but like, that's just how I am. Like when I'm shopping or doing whatever I'm doing. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be too annoying or overbearing or anything like that.
Right. And I would say a couple things that I have noticed that I think really help you is one, you're super consistent in what you do. You are always like, there's never a day since you kind of hop back into it this month that there's never a day that you're not posting, that you're not showing up, that you're not doing the things that you can, but you're also so eager to learn. You also want to make sure like, hey, how can I do this better? Is there something else you would have said? And I love that because you're constantly trying to better yourself. And I know you're super competitive and that helps you too because you're like, I see someone signed a customer, like, let me do this too. And I think it's so helpful to have like friendly competition. So find someone that drives you. Like find someone, this is my like advice to anyone, find someone that you can work with to be like, hey, I signed a customer. And then you're like, well, shoot, like they signed a customer, so I should go sign a customer. Like for my team personally, we have a chat where people just like shout out their enrollments, and it's so funny when like someone will sign a couple, and then I'll get a private message from someone, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she signed a couple! I have to catch up!" And it's so fun to have that competition. You're not trying to beat someone, but you're just trying to keep it going, you know? So, does anybody else?
Well, and that's kind of how I am. Like in that group, someone will, oh, I just got this customer, new LC, like. This I have this many points now and like this many points to the team, and I'm like, oh, okay, well they're getting close to me now, so I gotta kick it into gear again.
So, do you have any kind of like last minute thoughts for anyone that's kind of just getting started or anyone that kind of hasn't done much but wants to get back into it? Do you have any tips or anything you would say to them to kind of help them get going?
I would just say, go with it. I mean, there's really nothing that you're going to lose if you don't. I mean, you got to take the leap. I mean, if you want to make it big or in anything that you do, you got to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. You have to do all of that yourself. Like nothing is just going to be given to you. And so just, I know that people have, gotten down on themselves because that's how I was. I didn't think that I could do it, and it was all kind of a mind game. But just keep going and keep posting, keep messaging people, asking for the host to post, and things like that. Like just don't give up. I mean, it'll come eventually when it's time. It'll all work out.
Yeah, and Kelsey and I were talking earlier, and I've said she is clearly a master at signing customers, and now we're flipping over to getting distributors for her. And it's the same thing that I told her is what I'll tell you guys. The first one is always the hardest. I'm sure, and I know you agreed with me earlier today. It was the first one was somewhat hard. You're like, gosh, like, is this person ever going to sign? And then all of a sudden, 10 days later or 12 days later, you now have 15 customers. And so if you are new and you're wondering, will this ever make sense? Will I ever get it? Will people ever order from me? The answer is yes, but you just have to be consistent and believe that they will come when it's time for them to order. So unless anybody else has any other questions, I'm so thankful that you were able to hop on here. I know you were super nervous. This was you did so good, and I'm so glad that people were able to hear from you and just kind of really see, like, just be real, be honest with people, just be yourself and truly try to help people because that's really what they want. So I hope you guys have the best Monday ever. And if you guys have any questions about anything, reach out to me and I will do my best to answer them. And I will put this up on YouTube tonight. So bye, everyone.
Bye.